And I was confident that we could come together today and take a giant step toward a brighter future. So tonight, their efforts have brought our cause a great victory, and we celebrate with people across these states. Thank you.
Well, it was 2 wins for Mitt Romney last night, Arizona and Michigan, but we're hearing more from political pundits today about Romney's narrow win in Michigan than his decisive win in Arizona. I want to ask our analyst, Sam Donaldson, about that. Sam, is that just spin these guys are putting on it to make it a better story? Or is there something significant we're supposed to learn here?
The significant thing we learned is that Mitt Romney is still on track to be the nominee of the Republican Party. Had he lost Michigan, then the question would be, is he off track and can he get back on? But he's on track. Super Tuesday, he's going to win some of the states, and he will get more delegates, I suppose, than anyone else. He will lose some states, and the contest will go on. But at the moment, he still can say, I'm going to be the nominee of the party.
Will there be no more talk of the conservative white knight or the anti-Romney candidate from the Republicans?
Well, it's tamped down because of his win in Michigan. There are still a lot of people out there that don't like him in the Republican Party, don't think he connects with voters across the country, and they're right. And they'd like to see someone else, but it's too late for that. And it's a fairy tale to think that someone comes riding in from the west or east or wherever on a white horse and takes the party nomination. It won't happen.
Sam, as you know, Super Tuesday is the next big thing, but here in the Northwest, we're talking about the Washington State caucus on Saturday. Romney doesn't have a good track record with caucuses, winning 2, losing 3. Santorum has won nothing but caucuses. Could Washington be significant?
Yes, it could be. Anything that now says, well, maybe Mitt Romney is going to be stopped is significant. He's in that terrible position of not having locked down the nomination early because of his weaknesses and people in the party who don't like him. He's in that terrible position that any little thing that says, uh-oh, there's a glitch here, there's a tremor in the force, will be significant.
Super Tuesday, and a lot of attention now on Ohio, where Rick Santorum has a 7-point lead in the latest polls. A month ago, Romney had a 9-point lead there. What do we take from that?
Well, we take the same thing we took when Rick Santorum a week ago had a 7-point lead in Michigan and lost it. I mean, these polls at the moment, the volatility and the fact that someone says something stupid one day, and both of them have been able to do that, can change things. So I wouldn't put much stock in the Ohio poll at this point. Let's talk about next Monday night and Tuesday,
where we will, of course, be talking about states like Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Georgia, where there are many more conservative evangelical-type voters. What's the expectation for Santorum in those states?
Well, I think very high for Santorum and for Newt Gingrich. I would expect that Mitt Romney may well lose those states that you mentioned. But he'll still, if he wins the other states, or most of the other states, come out of Super Tuesday with more delegates, and still the idea that, he lost this and he lost that, but he's still on track to be the nominee.
And now momentum with a double win, as you have told us many times in the past. Is it all but a foregone conclusion for Romney at this point?
No, it's not a foregone conclusion, but the odds are on. In other words, if you're a bookie, the odds are in favor of Romney. But you lay off a little money on the side because it's not done yet.
How much does he hurt himself with these gaffes, Sam? And maybe many people don't recognize him as such, but his wife drives a couple of Cadillacs. And I don't watch NASCAR much, but I've got a lot of friends who own teams. I mean, things like that tend to turn off voters. I mean, should he talk less? I mean, what would your counsel be to him?
They do hurt him, and he acknowledged that yesterday. He said it in a news conference. Yes, those kinds of things hurt, and he understands, but he can't help himself because that's who he is. He comes from wealth. He comes from privilege. He's earned it. I'm not complaining about that, and Americans like someone who's, if they pull themselves up and do well in the right, honest way. On the other hand, that's the point that you made. The voters who don't have that wealth, who are hurting, do you feel my pain? Do you care about me? And when he says things like, my wife drives 2 Cadillacs, and as you point out, I know the owners, but not anything else about NASCAR, it tends to make people think the answer is no. And he can't win an election if people think that.
Sam Donaldson, ABC political analyst. Sam, as always, thank you very much for the thoughts this morning.
Thank you, Paul.